Good afternoon and welcome to the webinar Plan to Celebrate National Farmers Market Week, sponsored by the Illinois Farmers Market Association. My name is Deborah Kavanaugh Grant, and I'm an ILFMA board member and chair of the Education Committee. Celebrating National Farmers Market Week is an excellent opportunity to show Illinoisans how much value markets bring to their communities. With fun events, specials, contests, and activities, the week helps to boost market attendance and visibility, while at the same time being loads of fun. To learn more about this celebration event, I'd like to introduce Jane Maxwell, Executive Director for the Illinois Farmers Market Association. Janie is very passionate about local foods and farmers markets. She is a registered dietitian and works to promote local food and farmers' health and economic impact. I'd also like to introduce Natalie Kenny Marquez, President for the Illinois Farmers Market Association. She is the founder and CEO of Grow Marketing and Communications, LLC, and was the market manager for Urbana's Market at the Square for 5 seasons. Welcome, Janie and Natalie.
All right, well, welcome everybody. We're really excited to have you all join us today. And we're really excited about National Farmers Market Week. And so we wanted to just talk a little bit about Illinois Farmers Market Association, some of the things that we have coming up, and then also about National Farmers Market Week. So just a little bit about us. Most of you are familiar with the Illinois Farmers Market Association, but you see our mission statement. But we're really working to ensure that farmers markets continue to prosper, to be a vital part of our communities, and to provide a vital resource to not only our vendors and our producers, but also to our customers and our communities. The Illinois Farmers Market Association works really hard to provide professional development and training for anyone that is interested in participating. In fact, we're really excited about this coming fall. Through a grant from the Illinois Department of Agriculture, we are going to be offering 3 Farmers Market 101 sessions, one in Rockford, one in Chicago, and one in suburban Cook County in the fall of this year. And we're very excited to offer those. There will be no fee for those because they're grant funded, and it's a great opportunity for both vendors and farmers market managers to come and kind of get an intensive look through this workshop at running farmers markets and how to be successful at farmers markets. We also have our certified farmers market manager course that will be this fall and this winter as well. And we're very excited to offer those as well. So as we look forward, we do education, professional development, and training. We also do advocacy, trying to work at the state, local, and national level to ensure farmers markets are as successful as possible, and then also to just promote farmers markets, to tell anybody that wants, that will listen about how wonderful farmers markets are and what tremendous opportunities they are and what impacts they have on their communities. So we are very excited about National Farmers Market Week. It's just such a great opportunity. Well, why celebrate? If you haven't celebrated National Farmers Market Week or haven't really called it out at your farmers market in the past, why do it? What would be the benefit? Well, I think on a lot of levels, it builds awareness about farmers markets. So the more excitement and impact and the more opportunities people have to hear about your market, the more likely they are to come, to at least check it out, and then potentially to become long-term customers of your farmers market. It brings attention, builds awareness, and it also can highlight what your farmers market brings to your community. I think as we get into 2021, I hope there's just this incredible sense of celebration that we are basically operating kind of as business as usual. That the pandemic, although we are reading about different things that may certainly alter our operations moving forward, hopefully not. But we are in a space right now where we are just really celebrating kind of the new normal, celebrating being able to operate, celebrate being able to do things with a whole lot of procedures that just enhance the safety of the market. But it's also a time to reflect back and say, wow, your farmers market did a lot for your community last year. During food shortages and food uncertainties, you provided an opportunity and a place for your community to shop. I had a very, I felt kind of heartfelt conversation with a vendor at one of the markets I was at just recently, who told me that without the work of like the Illinois Farmers Market Association and his local farmers market manager, he wouldn't have been able to feed his family last year because he would have had no place to sell his products if we hadn't worked really hard to ensure that those markets were able to open. So those are the kind of stories, the kind of a look back, a reflection about how important farmers markets really were last year. Well, that same idea continues. Farmers markets are still essential. Farmers markets are still important. They are key. They provide economic development to your community. And it's an opportunity to highlight all of that. You've been in operation for a while now, at least a couple weeks, maybe even more, depending on your location. And you have great stories to tell. A lot of Farmers Market Week is just capturing what already goes on and making sure that it's not just an internal view of the farmers market, but it is something that has a little bit more of an external view. And we'll talk about that as we move forward. It's a great time for events, building excitement, invite the media, opportunity to invite local elected officials. They can be elected officials at any level. Maybe you have, a mayor or a village president or anyone that has a particular interest in your community. Invite them to the market, give them a tour, and showcase what the market does for your community. I think it's also time to talk about the benefits of your market from a nutrition point of view. I mean, you are providing tremendous local food available, picked at the peak of what we call its freshness and its taste profile. You won't find better tasting, more nutritious food anywhere than at a farmer's market. You can highlight that. But I think it's also time to talk about farmers markets, especially if you accept the link or maybe the WIC or the senior nutrition program at your market. It's a place for everyone to shop. And so it's a time to get that message out that if you do accept those programs, to highlight them and to talk about the tremendous benefits that they have been to participants who have used those programs and taken advantage of shopping at your market during the pandemic or now as well. In 2020, we saw more SNAP or link redemption at farmers markets than we've ever seen before. And especially between SNAP and the PEBT, we've continued to see increases in the number of link-driven sales at farmers markets. Good for the community, great for the vendors, just really a great opportunity to tell that kind of story to anyone and to also to acquaint the entire community with the opportunity to make those purchases at your market. So a lot of things that you can do, lots of opportunities, and we're going to talk about a few of those. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Natalie to talk about the Champaign-Urbana National Farmers Market Week.
Thanks, Jeannie. So I'm going to go through a couple of slides with you about a joint celebration between the Champaign and Urbana farmers markets when I was the market manager at Urbana's Market at the Square. So we'll treat this as kind of a case study because I think we did some things right and we're able to have a lot of fun back in 2017, which is the example I'm going to share with you today. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Champaign and Urbana are right smack dab next to each other, home of the University of Illinois, and Urbana has a farmers market on Saturdays and Champaign has a market on Tuesdays. And so we pulled together and decided to do a joint celebration to help us who both had smaller budgets and not a lot of staff, we pulled together to make a bigger impact and create more awareness and reach a broader audience by coming together and doing a joint celebration. So what you see on the screen, We Heart Farmers Market Week, we put together a poster that we collaborated on, and the Champaign Market put it at all of their bulletin boards, and Urbana Market put it out at all of ours. We shared and tagged one another in all of our efforts out on social media and through email blasts. There were activities that took place that we promoted for each other on Tuesday and on Saturday. And we also had a tic-tac-toe card. Well, it's just kind of like a bingo card, but a little bit smaller because there are only 3 spaces across or down. And each of them had an activity that you could participate in, where in order to get a row, you would have had to do at least one thing at both markets in order to make that happen. And so it also helped to drive engagement and get people to the farmers markets. And they were fun things on the tic-tac-toe card. Take a picture with the vendor and post it on Instagram and tag the farmers markets or tag National Farmers Market Week, or attend one of the activities at either of the markets. Those are some of the examples that we had on that card. And so once everyone submitted their card, we put it into a raffle. We raffled off a basket of goodies worth about $300 that were all either purchased or donated from both of the farmers markets. We also collaborated on a mayoral proclamation that was read by both the Champaign and the Urbana mayors. Champaign mayor read it on Tuesday, and then the Urbana mayor read it on Saturday, and we were able to get photos, and we were there for one another's markets to really show the collaborative community efforts that we were working on and that farmers markets really are. One thing that we did at the Urbana market, which we got the idea from the internet, from another market somewhere else, was to host a kale eating contest. I recognized that the kale eating contest was met with some comments on our farmers market page, but I assure you that when we say kale eating contest, it was, and I do have big hands, but it was a big heaping handful of kale that we dropped on a plate. So we'll equate that to a salad-sized portion of kale, and it was whoever finished it first was the winner. So that it wasn't like the Coney Island hot dog eating contest as an example. It was more of a fun and playful PR stunt where we pulled in some local celebrities to participate. And you can see in this picture here, on the right, we have one of our vendors that participated who does not eat green leafy greens, if I recall correctly. So that was kind of fun to have him participate, even though he grows it. He's not as big of a fan of kale. Here we have the Urbana mayor participating in the kale eating contest, also wearing a shirt that says "Kale Yeah." I'm trying to remember who this gentleman is. He might have been a customer that we coerced into participating as he walked by that morning. Here we have, I guess the formal name for this guy is Corny. He's the Sweet Corn Festival mascot from when Urbana used to host the annual Sweet Corn Festival, which was, if I remember correctly, either that same day or the weekend after was the Sweet Corn Festival. So there was a tie-in with our business association. So it ended up being a lot of fun. People got a t-shirt. We even made a trophy. You can see it sitting on the table. The trophy was kind of a hoot as well. And actually the vendor that didn't really care for kale was the one that won, probably because he was trying to get rid of it fastest. But in any case, the contest made for a good crowd and people cheered on. And I think they thought it was fun to see the mayor and Corny involved in the contest. So it ended up being a fun collaboration. It gave us some good opportunities to share our missions, show our collaboration, get our elected officials involved, get the vendors involved, and get the customers involved at the farmers market, and just have a really fun event. When I do have a video where we have the whole thing on video, it lasts about 6 minutes. I don't know what our timing is like. I can try to click on it so we could watch it. What do you think, Janie? Okay, maybe it will work. Oh, and my link isn't working. Well, I will certainly be sure to put the link in the, will it work on your end? If not, I can try to pull it up in the chat. Well, I'll be sure to send the video link when we send out the presentation after we finish today. Our public access station came and brought a camera and took a video of the mayor reading the proclamation and of the contest happening, and we were able to then show it on our public access station and share it on social media and put it on our YouTube page.
I'm gonna try again.
Okay.
There we go.
Optimize.
Might need to turn up the volume. Any luck with the volume, Janie? No luck.
It's up as high as it goes. Can you not hear it?
No.
No, it might
Okay.
have been one of those tiny little buttons that you have to check in Zoom. We'll
Okay.
share the link in the chat. That way you guys can take a look at it separately. But we did also, the woman on the left, Michelle, was a radio host from one of our local radio stations and a regular farmers market shopper. And so we also invited her to come to National Farmers Market Week, and she helped be our MC of events, which also was helpful in promoting the farmers market and National Farmers Market Week, and getting, you know, involved in casting a net to an even wider, broader audience to get to market that day. So all it took was a couple of phone calls, a free t-shirt that said "Kale, yeah," and the promise for a fun Saturday morning at the market. And we were able to rope in quite a few people to help make that celebration happen. So it was certainly a lot of fun.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the.
Afterwards, I remember there being customers that came by and asked where they could buy the t-shirt. They really wanted that t-shirt. we only had them for the participants in the contest, but you know, it's that proof of participation. I feel like people really will do something for a t-shirt. Thanks, Janie. I think we can move on to the next slide. So a couple of ideas for marketing your farmers market during National Farmers Market Week. We talked about a mayoral proclamation that we did in my case study from a couple of years ago. I put also, in addition to the proclamation, we did a press release And so this was the joint press release that we did between Champaign and Urbana that we each sent out to our networks. We showed all of the activities that we had for the days. I talked about a couple already, but we put all of that information out, as well as timing, everything from the mayoral proclamation to a sampling tent, a cut flower demonstration, Eduardo. This is the eggplant from the Champaign market. He sometimes wore a little mustache depending on the day. And so there were little everything lined out for both markets so that you could celebrate all week long. Social media was always very important to both of Champaign and Urbana markets, and still, I'm sure, continue to be, as well as being a place to post and tag and share information about upcoming events, share photos, share an album as a recap of events for people that missed out. They could at least see the photos and maybe think of that as a reminder to head to the market the following day that you have it. We'll talk about the toolkit that the Illinois Farmers Market has put together, which includes Facebook posts and recipes. And so I'll save some of the discussion for that, but we've put together some tools to make it a little bit easier for you to not have to come up with quite as much content to share on your own. You can use some of our assets and use that as well. I would recommend putting a Facebook page banner up, a temporary one. So, set a note on your calendar on what day to put it up, and then don't forget to set a note on which day to take it down or swap it out with your with another one. And just as a side note, it's fun to switch those banners out seasonally anyway. So that could be another marketing point to think of. I know Janie mentioned it before, and I talked about it in my last slide, but we invited local officials and news media to attend. We gave them a t-shirt for attending, invited them to participate in our activities and events, and it was really a lot of fun. We included emails to all of our subscribers in our email list to let them know about events, remind them that it was coming up, let them know what was in season at the time, what we're going to have at the sampling tent, and all those types of things. And then another idea that you could think about is working with local restaurants to feature ingredients for a special Farmers Market Week menu. We had some success with that a few different times at the Farmers Market when I was there in Urbana. I know that Springfield has done the same in the past too. So that could be an opportunity to be able to help promote the restaurants, promote the vendors, promote the seasonality of products, and really make it a fun, collaborative community effort, because it's really what it's all about during National Farmers Market Week. I think with that, it concludes my slides. I know we're going to open it up to questions and idea sharing later on, so I'll follow up with all of you then if you have any questions specifically about the case study.
All right, thank you, Natalie. And as Natalie said, ILFMA has resources available for you. I don't know if you've noticed as we've gone through the slides, there have been National Farmers Market Week graphics, and those will become available to you after the webinar. We're going to put them in a Google Drive, and anyone that is registered for the webinar will receive that once the webinar is over, along with the recording link, so that you have access to all of these graphics so that you can just be ready to go. So graphics, Facebook posts. One of the things I think we really want to see happen is to create a statewide presence of farmers markets and a statewide celebration of National Farmers Market Week, and even a national level celebration of Farmers Market Week. So tagging the Illinois Farmers Market Association or hashtag, I think we are IL Farmers Markets. Go ahead and let's see if we can't build that momentum. And as we see things that you and your markets are posting, then we can also share those and continue the momentum across the state of what's going on in farmers markets. We have a recipe per day. We have 7 recipes that look like the recipe that is there, the farmers market grilled corn salad. They're seasonal, they're ready to go. And a lot of the ingredients from the recipe are actually should be available at farmers markets during this National Farmers Market Week. I think, as I said, cross-posting builds a lot of momentum. And as I also mentioned, we will make sure that you have access to the ILFMA graphics. And we want to share those. We want to see those out there. And we're really excited for it. One of the things that we also partner with Farmers Market Coalition, and Farmers Market Coalition does a huge push on National Farmers Market Week. ILFMA, we're doing a state level push. Farmers Market Coalition does a national level push. And if you are a member of the Illinois Farmers Market Association, then you have access to members only resources at Farmers Market Coalition because you can sign up for a Farmers Market Coalition membership through your ILFMA membership. If you need a refresher on that, or if you need the code that you need to use in order to go ahead and get your Farmers Market Coalition membership set up, go ahead and email the Farmers Market, email me at info@ilfma.org, and we'll get that taken care of. But Farmers Market Coalition puts together great resources, and I would highly recommend that you check them out. Even if you're not a member of FMC, they also have a toolkit for Farmers Market, National Farmers Market Week. And let me share that with you. Again, the idea is between the ILFMA resources and the FMC resources, we're trying to make this as easy as possible for you so that you don't have to create graphics. You don't have to spend a lot of time on recipe development or then making them look really awesome like the ones that we've developed. But you can go through and actually kind of follow this PDF toolkit that's downloadable from the FMC website. They actually, I think theirs may be one of the longest URLs out there, Farmers Market Coalition, all spelled out, .org. But you'll see that they have great ideas on talking points that farmer, these are a lot of the kinds of things that we have already gone over. The guide is about 12 pages. It includes how to get started, and goodness, the week of June 25th, I think that's where we are. You're thinking about Farmers Market Week, you're planning ahead, and kind of some ideas of things that you might do each and every week. What kind of messaging are you going to put out there? They have graphics that they have developed as well that you may want to use. They also have, I think, which is really kind of fun down here, is potentially ways to, I'm sorry, there's advocacy. I'm sorry, I was out of order in my thoughts. Oh, here it is, measuring your impact. Do you have a way to even count who's looking at your site and who's actually downloading or using the resources that you're talking about during National Farmers Market Week? So that might be something to kind of highlight and say, wow, we haven't done a lot with National Farmers Market Week in the past. This year we're going to do more. And we just want to collect some simple metrics so that we know that the push that we're doing during National Farmers Market Week is making an impact. Are you going to maybe count attendance? Are you going to look at Facebook hits? Those kinds of things. But again, advocacy, it's a good reason to talk about farmers markets and their benefits to your community. It may be the time to ask for specific things related to that. It may be the time, as I said, to showcase your link acceptance at your market, all sorts of ideas and opportunities within this toolkit. And as I said, you can go to farmersmarketcoalition.org And this toolkit is available to anyone who would like to access it. And then through your ILFMA membership, create an FMC membership, and you will have access to a few more resources that Farmers Market Coalition has put together. All right. I know I should be able to do this without going back and forth, but I found this is the easiest way, so I'm sorry about that. But what we've found in the past is the best ideas come from farmers market managers sharing what you have done in the past, maybe around Farmers Market Week, or maybe just around events and programming that you've done to promote your market and the kind of positive response that you have. So this would be an opportunity for you. You can unmute yourself. I'm going to get rid of the slides so that we can actually look at each other and potentially discuss what is it that you've done that you felt has been good for your market, or just some ideas for National Farmers Market Week. So please feel free to unmute yourself and share some ideas.
Since everybody's talking at once, we always do something for Farmers Market Week. We pretty regularly have done the mayoral proclamations. We present that at a city council meeting, and they talk about our market. That's always gone over well. It gets a little bit of press coverage because the local paper is always at the council meetings. But otherwise, try to add just some other special elements to our day, but always do something to recognize it.
I saw in the chat that the Farmers Market Coalition has these great I Heart Farmers Market tattoos that they ordered those and distributed those to adults and children that were interested in those during National Farmers Market Week.
We've a few years we haven't done it. Well, didn't do it last year, but in past years we've always done little giveaways too. Like we had like little shopping lists printed, like notepad shopping lists with our logo on it, and just give like to give out freebies to anybody who comes through too, just as a thank you for supporting our market. Tote bags, whatever is budget friendly for us in any given year.
Thanks. And ILFMA will have a Facebook post of the day. So to make it really simple for yourself, you could just take that post and share it to your market audience. We will be highlighting the 7 recipes for National Farmers Market Week, as well as some other messaging. So please go ahead and share the information that we put together for your market, just to make it easy, rather than creating new information yourselves.
Well, one of the things that we did last year because of the COVID restrictions was we held drawings for gift certificates. And we did that. Well, we had 2 markets during National Farmers Market Week, and people accepted that real good. I think we give away 2 different times. I think the first prize was $50 of, we made the gift certificates in $5 increments so that you didn't have $50 to spend all at one time. And we had, I think $50 was the grand prize, and then 30, and then 20, I believe it was, for second and third place, which was pretty well accepted. We may do that again with COVID restrictions lifting. We can do a lot of different things. We can get to the point where we can do some product sampling. Maybe a good time to try to get Chef in the Park type promotion. All thoughts and we're a month away, but that time will go fast.
And I think one of the things that's really important, especially with these recipes and things like that, is to let your vendors know ahead of time, what your marketing plans are, what's going on. And then they can see a response in their sales, right? So if you have these recipe cards there, somebody's growing these products. So just giving everybody a heads up and communicating with them, I think is important too.
Thank you. It's a great idea.
I know it was already mentioned, but we gave out tote bags also a couple of years at National Farmers Market Week. And they had logos for Champaign Market and Urbana Market. The Illinois Farmers Market Association logo was on there, and one of our granting partners logo was on there as well. We made them really bright. I think they were neon green or something like that. So you could certainly see who was walking around with them and spot them at later markets of who was using them. And we went through them really quickly. So it wasn't a matter of where are we going to stick these boxes full of bags afterwards. They went fast. We had people coming up asking, where do I get one of those bright green bags? So those were really a good giveaway.
Thank you. Any other ideas? One of the markets that I attend, what they have done during National Farmers Market Week is with their, not during the COVID season, but in the past, brought in a variety of performing groups from the local schools so that each group had a time slot, because the greatest thing about those kids that perform at farmers markets is they have a very loyal following. And I don't know that I've ever seen so many people at the market on a given day as when they did these slotted performances by the different choral groups or band, orchestra, whatever, highlighting the talent in the local community. And it was fun. Music was great, but we also saw a whole lot of people at the market that weren't typically there.
I think one more opportunity for collaboration and partnership on National Farmers Market Week is with your local library. I know in the past we had the library come and bring some books that were about farmers markets or farming to read to the younger kids. They put a little carpet out and have a little story time with the librarian. And then they also had books on recipes or eating seasonally or any kind of reference related to local food, farming, and recipes that you could actually check out right there at their tent. They gave out some cute little bookmarks that had the market information and the library information on there. So there's certainly some great opportunities for collaboration, even thinking outside of the box and working with other local partners and organizations.
There's a note here from Nikki. She doesn't have her speaker or camera, but in the past, they've done things like a mini scavenger hunts. They went and found, the customers apparently went and found the missing letter from a themed phrase at each vendor booth and finished a phrase and then brought them, brought their finished phrase to the information booth and got a small prize. We also usually do a farmers market giveaway basket so that people put their names in names in a drawing for. And a few years ago, we also doubled our incentive amounts on SNAP coupons for Farmers Market Week and handed out recipes for in-season items and had a live cooking demo. So Wow, that sounds exciting. I like the scavenger hunt idea with letters. That's fun.
You know, maybe folks that are on the call webinar, in terms of how you maybe engage your local businesses adjacent to the market and others in your community. So we heard about the library, but you know, if anyone had any experience to share about how you could do that.
Well, along those lines, our county farm bureau has a program called Ag in the Classroom, and that may be an opportunity to work with them on something like this, because I think they're always looking for new things to do and new audiences to reach. So that's just a thought that I may try reaching out to our local county farm bureau office.
Sounds great.
I will just agree, like our local farm bureau and master gardeners are both really good resources who help with our market sometimes and come do and, you know, extra educational things. Our farm bureau, instead of the traditional ag in the classroom, this summer they're doing an ag venture, giving teachers who want to participate, basically, I almost want to call it a scavenger hunt, a list of places to go and check out on their own time over the summer. And then report back on, like, you know, we'll have certain things that they've got to check in with us when they're there, so that we know that they've been there, so they can report back to that they did what they're supposed to do. But they're both good resources in our area to reach out to for programs for your market.
Extension is also a good resource for chef demos. They do have some individuals that are in the food and nutrition arenas that can do chef demos as well. So, you know, check out your local extension office to do that as well.
And if you've got a hospital in your community or other healthcare provider, our health foundation and their department's been really helpful in providing some resources for us as well, and education.
Well, that's great. Well, I think the good news is that everybody has about a month. And the fact that you're on this call or that you're interested and you're starting to think about it, I just think it is awesome. And our hope is that through National Farmers Market Week, we can just have more customers fall in love with farmers markets and really start to build on the momentum that we saw in 2020 and carry that over into 2021. So we just really appreciate all that you all do for your farmers market, for the vendors and for the communities where you live. And we look forward to hearing your stories, but we truly appreciate when you take the resources that we use or our posts and you share them, and then we would like to do the same. In the past, last year in particular, the Illinois Farmers Market Association used National Farmers Market Week to kind of bring awareness to what we do, that we're the organization that tries to support local farmers markets. And we did Facebook-based fundraisers for the Illinois Farmers Market Association, since we're a small not-for-profit. And that was highly successful. And so we would really appreciate your partnership in that, and maybe even sharing how ILFMA might have supported you, especially last year or moving forward, as we ask partners to consider supporting the Illinois Farmers Market Association, especially during National Farmers Market Week. So we're really excited about it. I think there's a lot of momentum. Hopefully you have some resources. Hopefully you're not overwhelmed. I know we put a lot out there between the FMC Toolkit and some of the things that ILFMA has done, and then all the ideas that are generated just by the people on the call. So hopefully you can pick and choose some things to do, and this year will be a great opportunity for you and your market to celebrate National Farmers Market Week. Anybody have any closing questions or remarks?
Well, thank you, Jane and Natalie, for sharing information on the National Farmers Market Week celebration. I'd also like to thank everyone for joining us on this webinar. We have a lot to celebrate this year, and hopefully some of the information presented will help you going forward. Thank you again for joining today.
Thank you.